working as assistant professor in IMS Noida, a School of Information and Technology. Okay, so without any further delay, let's talk about the today topic. Okay, in your course, that is the computer fundamental course, there is a topic which is the data communication. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you that what exactly the data communication and what we understand by the data communication. This is basically the introductory part of data communication, that you can say that we are using these terminology in computer network, but what I saw in your course, that they have been just given some introductory part of each and every topic. Okay, so what is the data communication? The term telecommunication means communication at a distance. The word data refers to inform presented in whatever form is agreed upon by the pairs creating and using the data. Data communication are the exchange of data between two devices via some form of transmission medium such as wire and cable. Data communication, it means that if you want to send the data from one machine to another machine, then how it could be possible. What the technology you being used so you can just share the information and you can share the data. It was the caution around the 1960s. So 1960s, the ARPA, it was basically the American Project Research Agency that funded by the Department of Defense. Okay, the DOD, they have just given the 80% of funding to them. Then like we do had the device. The device is very smart device. We can store the data, we can do the multiple things with that devices, but we cannot share the data from one place to another place. So how it could be possible? This was a caution, a big caution, that how the data communication could be possible between the devices. So what happens in that time, the ARPA has been just connected two devices through the cable wire, and then they saw that magic happen, that how one device can share the data and how one device can send the data to other device. So this is exactly that if you want to take the example of data communication, basically there is a three important component you require. One, which is that the sender who always sends the data, and the receiver receives the data, and the medium through which you are sending the data. So this is basically that communication can be happen between two devices like me and you. The communication only can be happen if I speak something and you are listening. There should be some it happens between the two things. So that's why the data communication can be happen between two devices. So in around 1960s, the concept of computer network has been introduced, but it came in 1965 in the public domain. So this is exactly that how the computer network brought this magic, and you can share the data from one device to another device. Okay, so what exactly that we talked about are the component of data communication system. So components means that if the data communication is happen, if the data communication is possible, if the information sharing is possible, what are the important component? Internet has been introduced in 1969, but network has been introduced through which you can just share the information, share the data from one device to another device in 1960s, but it came into the 1965 in the public domain and data flow. So you can look at in this presentation that how these 3-4 components, they are the most important and critical component if you want to do the data communication between two devices. The sender, exactly who sends the data, receiver who receives the data, and medium, of course you need a medium through which you are sending the data. The message you are sending, what you are sending, and you always require a medium through which you are sending the message. But the caution always arises when you are sending the data, you always require a guidelines, rules and regulation that are basically known as a protocol. So what exactly the protocol? Set of guidelines that how your data will travel in medium. So the important components of a communication system is sender who sends the data, receiver who receives the data, and protocol, that guideline through which you are sending the data from one position to another position. Okay, it means it is the source and it is the destination. If you want to communicate, and of course you do have some source, or from you are sending the data, and the destination where you want to send the data. So you always require some guidelines that how the data should travel in medium. That basically known as a protocol, because we don't know that what the science exactly work behind the sender and receiver. Okay, because exactly we are receiving the data, but we don't know that how the data is transforming from one place to another place. So these are basically the components of data communication. Okay, so let's have a look the types of network. Okay, network means, it means that when you do have more than one device and they connected to each other. Okay, they can use the wire cable, they can use some other medium, they can use some other media to connect. If more than one device, it means the data communication can be happen. So this is exactly the network. But when you talk about the internet, internet is something which is the network of networks. Okay, so this is exactly that how it happens. Internet is you globally connected. Once you on your mobile data, now you are globally connected. Okay, but network, between two devices there could be a network. Do you know this fact that if you are in internet, it means you are always in network, but vice versa is not true. It doesn't mean that if you do have the network, then you must have the internet connection. Okay, so this is exactly that what is happening and how it is happening.